Hi, I'm Bonnie Simon, and this is my channel, the Bonnie Simon Says channel, where we talk about whatever I want, but we also talk about how to make a living the way you want to live. So today I am interviewing Dr. Stephen Simon, the author of Relaunch, Stagnation, Change, and Renewal in Mid-Career and Beyond, a book that just came out, and he's going to talk to us today about age discrimination. So here's our question. Here's our inflammatory question. So, Dr. Simon, people talk about age discrimination and they complain about not being able to find jobs because of their age. Is that a real thing? Is it really the age discrimination that's causing the problem? Is it true?
Well, yes, age discrimination does exist, and I have a chapter in the book that specifically covers age discrimination. The thing about age discrimination is there are a few parts to this. First of all, employers can't discriminate legally on the basis of age, but what happens is, in actuality, there is a tendency to make decisions based upon a number of things, and age may be one of those things. So discrimination on age, on the basis of age, can exist, but it doesn't always exist, even though many people who are in their 50s and 60s and 70s who are looking for a job and are having difficulty finding one will often say that it's because of my age.
So what causes them to say that? How do they, I guess I'm asking what the gap is between reality and what they're saying.
Well, I think when you're in that age group, you recognize that there are certain realities that employers are looking at. For example, they may feel that they need to pay an older person more money because of their experience. They may be able to get a younger person at a lower cost. So that's one thing. And that's particularly for an individual who's looking for a job who has a lot of experience in their field. There are other situations where a person is looking for a job after not having worked for a long period of time. And in that situation, an employer may be wondering whether they kept up with basic skills like computer skills and that kind of thing. So there's a reality there. And there may be other factors. For example, the way a person dresses or the way they look. Will they fit in with a younger group that may be in a particular employment setting? But some of these factors that employers may be looking at can be overcome actually by the way a job search is carried out and the way people present themselves during an interview.
So tell us about that. Like how would a person carry out the job search if they're concerned about age discrimination?
Yeah, I think the important thing is to do the right things that anybody should do during a job search. In other words, what you're trying to do is establish that you have the most value to an employer than any of the other candidates that the employer is looking at. So when you do a resume, it's important to do a resume in the right way. And I cover this in the book. In other words, right at the beginning of the resume, you want to show in your summary of employment or whatever you put, your the branding statement or whatever you put at the beginning, plus the skills that you show at the beginning before you talk about before you show your specific employment. Right at the very beginning, you want to show value to an employer, so that when they look at a resume, they're going to say, this person, they're going to think that this is somebody that I really want to interview. And employers don't look at, many employers don't spend a lot of time looking at resumes. In other words, in the first 10 or 15 seconds, they may make a decision as to who they want to bring in for an interview. So it's important right in the resume to start out by showing your value. But then if you get called in for an interview, then there are other things you can do. And one of those things, for example, is to pay close attention to the way you dress and groom. You want to make sure that you wear clothing that's appropriate to the position you're applying for. If you're applying for an office position or you're applying for a professional position, wear what people who do that job wear when they're working. Maybe a suit and tie, maybe something a little more casual like what I'm wearing, but whatever it is, and make sure that the clothes that you wear are good clothes, that you look neat and clean and well groomed, and probably have a better haircut than I do, but you want to look as up to date and stylish as you can. That's important. So that's a first impression kind of thing.
That's very interesting. I think a lot of people don't think about that when, some people find fashion and being stylish to be interesting, and others just don't. And I don't know about where you live, but where I live, people pretty much dress as if they're always going mountaineering. Like, if you look at a person, it almost always looks like they're, getting ready to get on a bike or something like that. But what you're saying is that when you go for a job interview, and I'm guessing this is everybody, that you want to be careful to think about how you're going to dress and whether or not you're going to fit in, look like you fit into the workplace, and like you care about your appearance.
Absolutely. It's very, very important. In fact, I sometimes will say to people, dress as though you're looking to get promoted. And so, don't go to the interview, even if a job doesn't call for more than a t-shirt and jeans and sneakers. Don't go into the interview with sneakers that look like they haven't been replaced in the last 3 years, and a t-shirt that has holes in it, and so forth. So dress with new clothing. That always looks good. It always looks, regardless of what you wear. If you wear new stuff, then you look better than if you're wearing old ragged stuff. So that's the kind of thing. And I like the idea of dress as though you're looking for a promotion. It doesn't mean you have to dress like the president of the company, but it does mean that you have to look good and look well groomed.
All right. So once a person gets there, you said something in the book that I found interesting. You said that that you can go into the interview with the mindset that if the interviewer is younger and is concerned or worried that they're going to be concerned that you're going to end up taking their job or showing them up, that you can go in there with the mindset of, I can really make this person look good. And I thought that was an interesting perspective. I like that way of looking at it. So tell us a little bit more about that, about how people, like, what kind of mindset you go into the interview with.
Yeah, if you're particularly experienced and well trained in something, and you're interviewing with a person who's younger than you, who looks upwardly mobile, or who you think is looking for promotions themselves, you're not going to want to come in there looking like you're going to compete with them because you have more experience and a better background than they have. So you're really going to want to present yourself in a way that you're showing them how you can help them, not how you can outdo them. And it's a matter of attitude. It's the attitude that you're projecting. It's not an attitude of I know more than you, and therefore I'm going to show you what to do and show everybody else what to do. It's more like I really want to learn new stuff, and I really want to help this department or this unit do as well as it can do. And whatever I can contribute, that would be great to me. I'm not looking to get promoted. I just want to help. I just want to help this company do well. I want to help you do well.
I had hired somebody who did that. I mean, she didn't say that. She was about 10, 15 years older than me. And I was working as the manager of information technology for a nonprofit. And I hired her, and she made me look so good. She knew what she was doing. She actually came in wanting to learn more about information technology, interestingly enough. But what made her so good was that she knew how to deal with people. She knew how to get everything done. She knew how to make customers feel like they were getting what they want much better than some of the more technically astute people that I had hired in the past. So there can be a real benefit to hiring somebody who's older because they really know how to do a good job.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have somebody who you know can support what you're trying to do, and it's a really good feeling, and it really can be very helpful to you.
All right. Is there anything else that you would leave us with?
Well, I think in the interview, I think we've discussed the attitude is real important, and we really have just covered that, how you can project a good attitude. The other thing, I think another thing that that I find to be really important is making sure that you show that you're not a dinosaur. In other words, that you've kept up with things, because older people are often looked like as dinosaurs. But if you show that you've kept up with the latest IT things, information technology, you know how to use different types of software, particularly those that are related to your field, and you can navigate around some of the newer things that are taking place in the workplace and in your profession or your occupation, that really goes a long way to counteracting that thought that old people or older people really haven't kept up. They really can't keep up with the younger people. They really don't know what's going on. So make sure that you project that you have been keeping up. In fact, take courses to even before your interviews, before you're or during the time that you're looking for a job. Take courses that keep you up to date. So that kind of thing is really important to show, and that separates you out from a lot of people, and it counteracts that feeling from some potential employers that you really don't know what's going on.
All right. So you're saying that that to counteract age discrimination, you should keep up with your skills, make sure you dress professionally when you go into the interview, and be sure to go in with the mindset that you're there to make the manager look good, not to take their job.
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Simon. The book is called, once again, hold on, here it is. Relaunch, Stagnation, Change, and Renewal in Mid-Career and Beyond. This is the Bonnie Simon Says channel, and I'm Bonnie Simon. If you have a comment, go ahead and put that below. If you have another question for Dr. Simon, I'm sure we'll do another interview. So go ahead and leave it below, and we will respond as best we can. Thanks. Okay, wait, stop everything. I said the name of the book wrong. We'll do it again. The right way to say it is, go ahead, Dad.
Relaunch with an exclamation point, stagnation, change, and renewal in mid-career and beyond.
So go get the book now that you know the proper punctuation.